half a dozen home runs, half a dozen home runs on opening day for your Baltimore Orioles. 12-2 win over the Toronto Blue Jays. That is incredible. We're going to overreact. We're going to talk all about it on the Locked On Orioles postcast. And man, if this is how the season's going to go, I'll see you guys all the way until October.
This is the Orioles Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Baltimore Orioles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Locked On Orioles podcast. You might be wondering, who am I? If you hear this voice on the podcast feed, or if you're joining us on YouTube right now, I see a bunch of y'all filing in right now, celebrating the O's dominant win over the Toronto Blue Jays up at the Rogers Center on opening day. My name is Luke Slaybaugh, and no, I am not Connor Newcomb. Connor is still here. Connor still does the daily show for Locked On Orioles every day. And before we go any further, can we just golf clap for what Connor has done for this show and this channel for the past several years? Connor gives the show every day. He will do reaction tomorrow to this opening day win, but this is a new initiative that Locked On is doing where they will do an instant reaction episode after every Orioles game this season. So you get 2 episodes every day for the next 6 months. And that is something else. I'm Luke. I'm excited to be with you. I've been a journalist for about 10 years, a little more than that. I've covered Major League Baseball, major college football, been all over the country and the world covering sports, been on the East Coast in Maryland for the past 2 years or so. And I have really enjoyed getting to know the Baltimore Orioles, the culture up there at Camden Yards. I think that the East Coast is incredible. And what a baseball culture y'all have there on Utah Street. So excited to join this show and this culture. Man, we have a lot to talk about. You can always find the show on the Locked On Orioles YouTube and on any free Orioles podcast feed, whether it's Apple Podcast, Amazon, things of that nature. But first, we're not going to bury the lead here. We're going to talk exactly about what everyone's going to be talking about tomorrow, the Orioles' insane performance at the plate.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Thank you, Mrs. Locke. 6 home runs, a record for Baltimore Orioles teams on opening day. Previously, the record was 4 in 2006 and 1982. Man, you thought there was something in the air. The ball was jumping off the bat, and Adley Rutschman goes deep in the first inning, 436 feet off the bat. And man, Rutschman, Tyler O'Neill, Cedric Mullins, and Jordan Westburg all go deep. They break the franchise record with style and with aplomb. What a day for Tyler O'Neill, making his Orioles debut, their big free agent acquisition. 3 years, $49.5 million. Third inning goes Oppo Taco for a 3-run home run, reached base 5 times. Tyler O'Neill with a perfect 3-for-3 game at the plate, 2 walks. Adley Rutschman's first home run off a changeup in the first inning, incredible, the 3rd longest of his career. And then you thought he was done. Again, top of the 8th, 2-run home run off Yariel Rodriguez. And before you can even catch your breath, Westburg follows suit. Rutschman finishes 3-for-5 on the day with 3 RBI. An incredible performance. I know the second half was kind of spoiled for Rutschman last year after he hurt his thumb on one of those foul tips. Spring training, we knew that he was back to form. He was hitting the cover off the baseball, so was Mountie. A lot of good momentum behind this Orioles lineup heading into today. No one had hit 2 home runs on opening day for the O's since Sam Horn. That's what broadcast said. But man, first, there's one other person I got to mention, and he is our player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
It could have been anyone, right? Especially with the hitting performance that we had. But Cedric Mullins teared the cover off the ball. 2 home runs, 4th inning off of Jose Barrios, a solo shot. And then in the 7th inning, a 3-run home run, a slider off of right-hander Chad Green. Cedric Mullins the elder statesman on this Baltimore Orioles squad in his 8th season now, went through the whole rebuild, saw some really low points, became a 30-30 threat and an all-star, and is now just an incredible staple where you can hit him anywhere in the lineup. Brandon Hyde saw fit to have him hit 7th today. Just an incredible moment for Cedric Mullins and this Orioles team. A record 6 home runs for the Baltimore Orioles on opening day. Now, I like to frame this in a dramatic way right now because everyone goes into opening day with a sense of optimism. You can stake a lot and wax poetic on just a small sample size of 9 innings and even more. But I've been around this game long enough. I've seen teams hit multiple home runs, score 16 runs, throw shutouts on opening day, or just the opposite. But sometimes the teams that do well on opening day, the wheels will fall off by the end of April. Sometimes injuries will eat them up. And the Orioles, to their credit, they do all this without their star shortstop Gunnar Henderson, and they do it without their, heir apparent to the number 1 spot in the rotation, Grayson Rodriguez. So optimism abounds. They're not healthy, and they're only getting healthier. As for the opening day starter for the Baltimore Orioles, right-hander Zach Eflin, he's a 2, acquired at the trade deadline last year from the Rays. Perfectly good 2, and that's not a knock. He's a control artist. He knows what he is. Started off exactly how you would want someone in this situation to do. On the road, opening day, division opponent. 3 perfect innings out the gate, retires the first 10 batters he sees. 37 pitches in those 3 innings, 2 strikeouts, before he walks Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Induced a lot of soft contact, which we like to see, a lot of pinpoint accuracy, and he got some low calls from home plate umpire Lance Barksdale on his sinker. Something very good happening at the top of the Orioles rotation, and they need that. They break camp with a very right-handed rotation. They'll have Cade Povich there starting the home opener with the left-hander. Otherwise, the final line for Zach, 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 strikeouts, a walk, and a home run, all on an economical 78 pitches. The only time he really ran into trouble was that 20-pitch 4th inning. There was a 2-run home run by Andres Jimenez, Toronto's new acquisition that they were showing off. I mentioned the optimism and the aplomb that people go into this season with. The Blue Jays missed on a lot of free agent targets, and you might say the same about the Orioles as well, but they get Anthony Santander, who, by the way, goes 0 for 4 in his Blue Jays debut. Whoopsies. And they also have Max Scherzer. So behind the scenes, there seemed like there was a commitment to reinforcing this team that finished below 500 a season ago up in Canada. But sadly for Toronto, not the start that they wanted from their new free agent acquisition. And their starter as well, Jose Barrios, not doing too great either. We'll get into that after the break. But first, I want to leave you with this. There were many causes for optimism today, whether it was Eflin's performance or the home run parade that Baltimore went on. But there was a small moment, and you might have missed it, where Baltimore's offense really shined. And it wasn't necessarily by strength of a home run. There is a reason for optimism, and I'm going to get into that after this break. But first, it's time for Ad Copy. This show brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, you get a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from all the top brands. We're talking 400 plus of them. You'll find exactly what you need, coast to coast, delivered very fast. If you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And that, in the age of AI, huge. For trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now, it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. And for more ad copy, we turn to FanDuel. March Madness is here. I'm told there's a big Maryland Terrapins game tonight in the Sweet 16. FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. Now, did you put too much money in a bracket? Did you mortgage the house over that Rick Pitino, St. John's, Louisville storyline? Did you have them in your Final Four? Who among us would put Rick Pitino and St. John's and then the Louisville Cardinals and Pat Kelsey in that Final Four? Certainly not I. Certainly I would be winning my bracket right now and not be owing someone several dollars. Just kidding. And the Mizzou Tigers, my alma mater, bounced, but that anyone could have guessed that. Anyway, visit FanDuel.com, get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. FanDuel. The O's and Blue Jays pride themselves on homegrown talent and the core that they have built. And each of the respective franchises have gone through a rebuild. Orioles, Coda has them projected to win the division, win 87 games. And they are among the teams in the junior circuit trying to find out who will play the Los Angeles Dodgers in the 2025 World Series. I'm kidding, of course. But when it comes to these teams and you look at a lineup front to back, the question I always ask myself is, do I fear you? Do I fear the talent that you have stacked on there? And when the Orioles broke camp from Sarasota, they didn't have Gunnar Henderson. They didn't have Grayson Rodriguez atop the rotation. My honest reaction at the time was, with the loss of Santander and the lack of power seemingly heading up across the border to Canada, my answer was maybe. Top of the order, Adley Rutschman had returned to form, like we just said. Do I fear you? And this brings me to today's turning point of the game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So 6 home runs were hit in this game. And obviously you can point to any one of those, whether it was Adley's in the first inning or things of that nature. But when it comes to the moment I think that mattered, that really made the difference, I want to go to the top of the second inning. 2 runners on. Ryan Mountcastle on first, Ryan Mountcastle on second, Tyler O'Neill on third. A PFP fail, pitcher's fielding practice. Cedric Mullins taps the ball in between that area between first base and the pitcher's mound. Jose Barrios comes off the mound. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., kind of in no man's land in limbo, fails to cover the bag on time. Mullins, with his elite speed, slides into first, beats it out. O'Neill scores. Mountcastle moves to third, makes it a 2-0 ball game. That gave the Orioles some breathing room, and in terms of win probability, boosted their chances by 5%. If they hadn't converted, you're looking at a 1-0 game heading into the next frame, and you lose all that momentum. Momentum is a word that's tossed around quite a bit in baseball, but here, and it also meant a lot for Tyler O'Neill. We mentioned his perfect Orioles debut, 3 for 3 with 2 walks. He scores on that heads-up play. A couple years ago, at the start of April, Tyler O'Neill got into a spat when he was on the Cardinals with manager Ollie Marmol, getting thrown out at home on a relay throw that most league average runners could have beaten. And O'Neill has dealt with lower body injuries throughout his career. That was a moment where the clubhouse was kind of divided and Cardinals fans started to turn on their manager. But Tyler O'Neill, also, that was kind of the beginning of his fallout in St. Louis. He has since gone on to have a 30 home run season in Boston and now gets his payday with the Orioles. And what I'm getting at here is this. We like to think of sports in the transitive property. Anthony Santander hits 44 home runs for the Baltimore Orioles a season ago. He leaves. And Orioles fans think that Mike Elias in the front office will replace his production with a 30 home run hitter in Tyler O'Neill. But not everything is constant from a season ago. And this club's identity is going to hinge on a bunch of different factors. They're going to miss Gunnar Henderson until maybe the end of the home opening series against Boston. This team showed me in that moment that they are able to create runs in different ways. Even the start of the game, the first at bat, and Colton Cowser, he strikes out but sees 6 pitches. What a great eye, and what a way to set the table for his teammates. What a way to get Jose Barrios out at 90 pitches over 5 innings. This was exactly tailor-made the approach to the plate that the Orioles wanted. Yes, they're going to hit a lot of home runs, and yes, this is a great, great day for Baltimore with a record 6 home runs. But moments like that, winning on the margins, with great base running, with great eye at the plate, with great acumen, that is the type of identity you want to see at the plate. And they're going to face the Blue Jays 12 more times. They're going to face Santander probably 12 more times. Things are going to change. But the ability to create runs without the long ball was huge. Through 3 innings, they had Jose Barrios on the ropes. If you can get a guy to average 20 pitches per frame through those first few frames, that's when managers start to scratch their neck and look at the bullpen, and all of a sudden your series is derailed if you're falling behind that well. Through 3 innings, 2 walks, 4 hits that were not home runs, and they had Barrios at 57 pitches. They do it behind their number 2 starter, Zach Eflin, no Gunnar Henderson, and a 40-homer guy gone. As for Gunnar Henderson, we found out today from manager Brandon Hyde that he is starting his rehab assignment this week at AAA Norfolk. So that IL stent was retroactive to a few days ago. So 3 days ago, actually. So a week from today, Henderson would be available to be activated from the injured list for that series finale against Boston down at Camden Yards. And so far, one day without your star shortstop, something else. 12-2 the final. Orioles take care of the Toronto Blue Jays on opening day up at the Rogers Center in Toronto, Canada. A couple of things that Connor will probably get into tomorrow that I could gloss over. Bullpen looked shaky in a very low leverage spot. Sir Anthony Dominguez, bit of a Houdini act. 23 pitches, 11 strikes, gets bailed out. Couple of walks and a wild pitch, but he gets saved by a double play. Keegan Aiken also walks 2 in a scoreless 8th. Good on Brian Baker to pitch a scoreless 9th inning. And in terms of roster construction, when you didn't have Henderson there at shortstop, the Orioles turned 2 double plays on defense, and they really back up their bullpen. Having Ramon Urias at third base and Jordan Westbrook at second was the right call. And Heston Kjerstad gunning down Alejandro Kirk, the sneaky fast catcher, over there at second base. Jorge Mateo comes in for the 9th at shortstop and tags him out. All of a sudden, things are aligning really well. Looking ahead to Friday as we wrap things up. Friday night game on Apple TV Plus, 7 o'clock first pitch. Good to get that one out of the way. I know that watching on MASN is the preferred way, or if you're out of market, MLB.tv, of course, but we'll get that Apple TV game done. And it's right-hander Charlie Morton making his Orioles debut against Kevin Gausman. Morton, the oldest player in the American League, over 40 years old, right-hander, won a couple of World Series and an all-star, a former all-star in his own right. Hopefully sharing some wisdom with that Orioles pitching staff and eating innings and being economical with his pitches as well as the Orioles continue this series against the Toronto Blue Jays. Again, this is Luke Slaybaugh. I am with you all season long, giving you the Orioles POSTCAST. Connor Newcomb is here every day, 5 days a week for that show. I'm here to walk you through the post-game show, every single game, and I'm excited to go on this journey with you and to share in some amazing memories with you as we follow this 2025 Baltimore Orioles season. Thanks again for watching. Final score, Orioles 12, Toronto Blue Jays 2. Thank you for watching on the Locked On Podcast Network.